everyone, I hope everyone's well. So this is going to be a new case that I'm probably going to cover quite a bit. Doesn't mean that other cases I'm not. There will be, if you actually caught Son Morphew's first two readings and you're joining that journey, please let me know. What happened with this case is that actually it was sometime last week. I was working on something on the laptop for a client to send, and I actually was looking for something to watch as well, or just listen to in the background, and somehow I landed on this trial, and it was, let me just pull up because three days ago basically. So when you see this, it might be around 4 days ago, 3 days ago. So it was towards the end of last week, and it was day 2 trial. And basically, what was the title? Let's just see. So this is a reading on coreymicciolo. He was unalived in New Jersey, and 6 years old. And the title of day 2 trial, or in general, it's child custody. Now think of the word M with unaliving, trial, for NJ versus Christophergregor. Okay, 3 days ago. And I was like, what is this? How comes this is not on the news? And I just joined it, and firstly I didn't know what NJ was. Then obviously I realized it was state of New Jersey. So they're the prosecutors, and the defendant is Christopher J. Gregor, Christopher J. Gregor, and he's the father of the child. The child was 6. The date of unaliving, or his passing, was the 2nd of April 2021. So it's been 3 years. His date of birth was the 1st of May 2014. Now I'll be going through this in readings. I might channel Corey. I feel like with a bit of love he's going to come through, but let's see how it goes. And if you're following this case, or you're someone who's already aware of it and you joined from trial day 1, let me know if you're going to join this journey. I feel very strongly pulled to this. So when I joined I joined day 2. Firstly, it's like 6 hours of a trial, but they took more breaks than was actually there, and I was dipping in and out. I purposely didn't go to day 1 because in day 2, I didn't understand what was happening. I felt like the judge was very much with the defense in terms of, sustain, allowing stuff. And I couldn't get my head around stuff like, if the boy was in custody with the father, why wasn't he with the mother? Where was he prior to this year, when it became evident that the father had only just come into his life within a year or something? So I purposely didn't rummage further so that I can do this reading, but following this part, maybe if it needs to overlap in part 2, then it'll be part 3. If not, it's going to be part 2. I will be going through a bit more details and a fine-tuned comb of maybe how this all came up. I do think it's going to start coming into the media, so this week you might start seeing it, because it's one of those cases that what I could understand is there's an incident on a treadmill, which I'm gonna actually insert in this tarot reading, part 1 for Corey, for you to see, and then I'm going to discuss a little bit around that as well. Obviously the mother, I'm not really sure what happened there. I'll get into that. I think she might have been young. Again, things I'm going to probably look into. And one thing that struck me, that really kept me, is that I was like, okay, treadmill abuse. I hadn't seen the video. Would that cause the unaliving? And why is, if there's a fear of abuse, because I joined and there was a doctor talking and there was a fear of abuse. So why was he with the father, not the mother? What happened here? Was there more to this? And it was really about this recording on the 2nd of April of the treadmill. The father showed no emotion. The father, when I felt the mother came to the stand, he had more like feelings towards her of hurt. Possibly he acts those out in resentment, but you can tell in his eyes. When there was anything mentioned of Corey, or when the video was playing, anything like that didn't bring him to tears, and I found that really, really strange. No shame either. I think some people were saying like he looks like he's what's the word when possessed. He isn't, but there's just absolute no emotion there. And then when I joined day 3 of the trial, dipping in and out, there's one point where they were talking about the autopsy, and they were saying like they took Corey's heart out to test it, etc. And he broke down then. But apart from that, nothing else did he break down. So even like they showed a video of him taking him into the hospital on the 2nd of April. And I'm going to break this down further for you. He didn't even cry or break down then. He just straight face. But you can watch him when he sees the mother on the stand, as if there's still kind of unhealed feelings there. But when it comes to Corey, there's just no emotion, no shame, no guilt. The mother did break down. I think this is complex because there's definitely something here from the defense, from the prosecutor, maybe the mother's a witness. I think this is going to end up that, you know, people, child welfare, possibly those that assessed him, didn't pick up enough, but he did go through 3 medical centres of x-rays and blood tests, and there was nothing there. There was bruising. So let me do something. Let me add the clip of the treadmill in, and let's come back to this reading and commence the reading of part 1 for coreymicciolo, justice for this little boy that it really breaks my heart when I see it. He was obviously failed by, I think his mother tried her best when she picked up that there was something not right, but I don't know what was happening prior to that. And she also asked for emergency custody at the end of March, which was denied. And she got that call of emergency custody at the end of March as she was taking Corey on the 1st of April to the medical centres, to the paediatrician. That filing for emergency custody said her obviously she lost the emergency custody for the time frame, but to follow orders within the 7 days that both parties take Corey to like a CPS centre where I think they've got medical advice for child abuse specialist. And so while she was at the paediatrician, and they referred her to the medical centre, the medical center for tests and x-ray because they couldn't do it, she decided then to go for that. I think it's New Jersey Shore Medical Center. The first one was a pediatrician, then it was a community health center they referred her to, where there was ER doctors that assessed him, and then there was also then she got that call, and I think she went straight for that reason to the New Jersey Shore Medical Center. Now, when she was at the community health center, they said that they would transport her and Corey, but she knew that she was running late on returning Corey, and the defendant, Chris, the father, was already messaging her that, where are you? Although she told him where she was in terms of location, in terms of returning Corey. Now, I will go into a drop of a timeline and looking into it further to fill in the gaps. I was looking at the chat a little bit to try and understand stuff, but purposely not diving fully into it until after this reading, which after that, I'll bring in the facts that I've pulled together, and I will be following the trial as well. So you're going to have a little bit of psychic channeling, psychic energy, also some analysis, some factual based stuff. And this does not come from a vague or naive background. So if you're going to follow the journey, let me know in the comments. I am going to add the treadmill video in. I can also add the link so that you can see it clearly. I do want to warn you, it's not nice to see towards the end, but have a look at what you actually pick up on. This is the 2nd of April, 2021, the same day that coreymicciolo passed away, 6 years old. I'll see you after the clip, guys. So now I'm going to show you the treadmill video. Let's watch it. There's his father at the back doing dumbbell chest fly. Look at his father. I feel like his father's actually watching. I feel like the father's actually watching him. Here, I believe he's looking at the mother. Let's continue. Some leg lifts. Can you see how he's watching himself as opposed to Corey? Poor boy, poor boy. Look how he's actually watching himself and not the boy. And then he'll look down, and I think he's looking down because he's like, oh, this is not going to go down well. But I don't see any guilt, shame, or remorse. And in the next one, I might show you what I mean in terms of when he looks at the mother. Sorry if it's noisy. They've got the fan and everything going on in the gym. you see that smug look? Like, look, and then he looks down, and then he's looking all macho, and he's ready to come back. Again, no sign of crying or anything. Increasing the speed. Look at the boy's legs. Just look at the legs, and he's continuing to press the speed up. I'm going to focus a little bit more on Corey. This is where it gets more horrible, people. I'm really sorry. Waiting for him to fall off, I presume. The noise there is the mother crying. Look at his face. Nothing. And Corey attempts again. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. That's where it ends. So just there, as you can see, absolutely no crying. The mother in the background's crying. This is your son, and it's the last day you see your son alive. And you've had a hands in this. I mean, we're going to dive into the tarot. And I think it's going to probably come up from a couple of the questions without even me saying directly. But I will be asking directly in this part or the next part. And this is why I'm covering this case, because it's confusing from titles. I don't know how anyone can sit through that, and that's the last day your son is alive, and you're seeing videos of him. Forget that it's at your hands, whether you're a guilty party or not. Anyway, let's dive in. Imagine watching that and not hurting. Imagine watching that, and I don't know what else was shown. Trial 2. Day 2 was really confusing, and I've purposely not gone to day 1 when it will really tell me what the prosecutor's statement is, what the defense is. And honestly, I feel like there's a reason, which I will also bridge the gap on, as to why, like, I would be the prosecutor. So there's something around this case that's been brought up, because I think welfare have failed. I have a clear, if I was a mother, I have a clear document saying I'm concerned. I called the, I think they called it the it was like DCP&P in that area. So it was child protection and something, but it's like the welfare services for children. And I'd taken him around the medical centers, etc. So for me, I think there's a big failure there. And also, is there any failure at the doctor's side? Eventually, on the 2nd of April in the morning, Corey was dropped back at his dad's. And during the night where she was at the medical center to see the abuse specialist, again, I want to go back and see. I want to really piece it together based on facts and see what she says about that, because I didn't see that person come to the stand. It was the ER, it was the first center she went to, the community health ER doctor as well, the teacher that took to the stand, and also day 3 I need to go back to and see a bit more before we go on to these days. So for me, there's gaps, and the reason I've left that is so that we look into the tarot reading. And now what I want to do is I want to see just overall Corey's mum's energy, Brianna MICCIOLO's energy towards Corey in his life. Because there's something there, there's a bit of a gap there for her not having custody. Doesn't mean anything to judge someone, I mean. It just means there's something there. And it could be, I'm going to look into her age. She could have had Corey really, really young. So her energy towards Corey. One of the cards has just fallen. Okay. So this was the first card out. 8 of Wands in reverse. 6 of Swords. The 4 of Pentacles. We've got the 5 of Cups. Very mixed energy here. We've got 7 of Swords. Queen of Cups. Yeah, she's definitely the mother and she's got love for him. Page of Swords and Ace of Wands. So at some stage, you know, she's really got love for Corey, and she, what is Corey? He's a Taurus, because his energy to me was somebody who, when I see it in the video or in the pictures, is someone who is a good boy. He'll listen. I think he's very well behaved, kind of rational, grounded. I've got here, probably well spoken. Practical. He might have the more feminine sort of elements in his chart. We've always got the masculine and feminine, and it can be like you've got 3 masculine and 7 feminine, for example. It doesn't mean anything. It just means you might be like a softer nature, as opposed to, it's not good to have too much masculine or too much feminine. And obviously, you know, that can be, when I think of that, I think like his father just, and I saw that treadmill, his father is very macho. It made me sick. I feel like the father needed to be, these kind of people, regardless of what their outcome is, definitely someone who Corey feared. He got on that treadmill, he ran. He knew that he could not stop until his dad stopped it. The guy was like ready to come up. Can you see him when he walks back, and then he walks back towards the weights, and then he walks back towards the treadmill, and he's kind of like looking, he looks all like agitated, and maybe he was angry because obviously Corey had been to the clinics, and so maybe there's some kind of worry there, but also about, I don't know, her bringing him home the next day in the morning. So I'll be checking on their visitation rights. He actually called CPS on her. I think that was the night when she was a bit late, or she'd taken him to for one of the visitations. She was stuck in traffic. He called CPS on her. So you can tell like silly stuff. But in that he did mention my son. He wasn't like he wasn't distancing himself from Corey as a son. So here we've got a bit of a standstill at some stage in Corey's life with regards to the mother, where she's held on, but she's had to walk away in some way. So there's a story here. There is something that we're going to get into. Five of Cups, she's not been able to get over that loss. So I wonder if this is where, you know, custody wasn't with her. She lost the custody, whatever it is. But there was something she was doing that was not like out in the open. The reason I put those cards back is because I hadn't asked the cards my question. So now I have whatever comes out. She was not able to move in her life. It seems like there was something blocking her rationale. Very challenging decisions in her life, but I think she was doing something behind doors. So could this be like substance abuse, something like that? But again, difficult priority of choices was very important. But she was not able to act at this point in time swiftly or how she needed. I don't mean on the days of the unaliving. Very much held on to having love for Corey, I see here, and wanting a new chapter when I see that Ace of Wands. Just going back to the treadmill, when I was watching the trial and trying to catch up in the comments, I had no clue what was happening. People were saying about him biting his head. And I thought, how can they see that? Is it not just picking him up and telling him, maybe, I don't think he was telling him you're a good boy, but, you know, speaking to him, maybe telling him you got to get up and la la in his ear, near his head. But actually, apparently, he is biting his head or has his teeth on his head, which is disgusting. This to me tells me this is someone who's macho. This is someone who takes someone who's vulnerable, clearly frightened of him. There is something in the trial too, I think, or 3 clip that I saw, that they found jeans and a hoodie in the bin of at the father's home where Corey was living, because he had the custody of him. And the pants had fecal down them and the trousers as well. So is that Corey, when he was not well, taking him to the hospital, he's not able to hold himself, or is that fear that was coming through? You know, it's just disgusting how he picked his son up and the son would, I can't, just jump back on that treadmill and really try to run that treadmill, and then this is what really gets to me. It's what I think is going to come through the card is not just this one time, is abuse. A child that's lived in abuse, a child that's, you know, even if, let's say, obviously the mother was trying to get help, she seems like she might have needed help at some stage in her life. I wonder if she was young when she had Corey. I wonder if her mother stepped in to help her look after Corey. That's also something. I just want to pull another card on these again, see if there's anything else that comes forward. Look at that, you know, the only card that's that way. I wonder if any of you, yeah, so she was really trying to turn her world around, I think, trying to turn her world around. So she was definitely doing stuff that was not something that you would speak about. You know, it's hidey, sneaky behavior. And I feel she had stuff to sort out in her. She wasn't able to, maybe it's coping mechanisms, stuff that's unhealed, for her to be that mother. And I do think that there was a significant, maybe her mother, that stepped forward in this to look at that, the healing card, temperance and patience. To maybe it's a mother, her mother, or a mother that had custody or helped her look after Corey. The reason I keep pulling on this card is because I want to know if it's substance abuse. For some reason I feel like it's substance abuse. Here we've got here the Hierophant. So at some stage, you know, I'm looking at her energy towards Corey in his life. She does have here the presence of legal authorities and framework, and we can see that currently in the case. So I wonder, now it's about proving that his unaliving resulted from the care of the father, and the defense is obviously going to say what happened on the treadmill, if they're focused on the treadmill, is not. But maybe there's more incidences, but that's the only video I can see. Like I said, I wanted to keep it very brief, where I don't really even know if I've captured everything of the read. So we've got something there where she has been blocked, in stagnation in her life going forward. I feel there might have been some financial troubles. Maybe at one stage she didn't have a job. She's had to peacefully walk away from some things. If you're thinking, what am I doing? I'm just shuffling the cards, placing them anywhere in between the cards, and then I shuffle. Now we're going to use the same deck, to be fair, to see the father's energy. So this is where in the chat they were saying he's only been in the boy's life for about a year. So when I go deeper into the trials, I'm going to be able to clarify that. Okay, so there's something there about him also not being in the boy's life from day one. Sorry, I just had to have a drink of water. So let's see. Obviously, you've seen the disclaimer. This is for entertainment purposes only. And use your own fact-finding, discernment, and law enforcement's in position of anyone who's guilty to be, you know, to be taken down or whatever. So I don't think anyone served jail time as it is. I don't know if you're up for... He doesn't look like he's been in jail. Okay, so the father's energy towards Corey during his life, which means that it might just be a limited period. Anyway, Chris's energy towards Corey. Chris's energy towards Corey. Queen of Swords, Eight of Cups. Devil in reverse, Five of Pentacles in reverse, and the Seven of Cups. Bottom of the deck is Two of Wands. A lot of it seems to be around rationale of their choices in their lives. Here we've got, I think, the split from the mother. Okay, like I said, I wonder if one of them or both of them were fairly young. Young can be, I know some people will say like 20s, early 20s is not young. I don't think it's young to do this, but for example, if we're talking late teens, it could be young. Maybe they're not focused on their lives, etc. But I do see here a single, there's a bit of, you know, there could be a little bit of bitterness and heartbreak from kind of the end of the relationship. Yeah, and look, King of Cups. I said to you, I feel like he still has the feelings for the mother, although I think at the moment they're in a bit of bitterness, because she happened to mention about he doesn't want me to be there because he says I'm trash or something. Again, here when I see this, there could be something around substance. In the other one, it wasn't clear, this substance with the energy towards Corey. So maybe she never actually, she had it in her life. That's maybe a question I need to ask actually separately. But I did try with the 2 clarifiers to see what the 7 of Swords were. So I don't think she ever did it around Corey. So maybe she got clean. Maybe it's something else, but here I could see that there is, the father had a lot of hopelessness and a resistance to positivity, and probably when I see this, unable to move forward within his life. The devil in reverse, again, I don't know when the father was born, but I don't think that is his, the card of like a Capricorn. I feel like this is actually him. And it's kind of like here when it's in reverse, it's like actually trying to break free of addiction. But then we've got it with the 7 of Cups, so I wonder if there was maybe some alcohol, but it's kind of like not it. I feel like this is rejection of seeing the truth of the circumstance. You're not wanting to see your own role in such a negative circumstance, and you're not breaking the chains to release of what's grasping you in life to make you be this way. A lot was around choices here, really making the choices to be able to turn things around in his life. Here we've got the 6 of Pentacles, which is really about a give and take. All right, there's a lot about a give and take here. So I wonder if he also had, and I will look into history around his jobs. What was that? Was there a lot of maybe job hopping? But I think he might have been quite stable. Maybe when he had full custody of Corey, he decided it's time for me to become stable, maybe move away from, maybe if he was living with his parents or family, into a place. It looks like they lived in a good area or a good apartment block. Yeah, so it's to do with work. I think, was he trying to get his life on track, realized he needed to, a lot of internal, external battles around sort of work. So this could be around where he's maybe been in one job and left for another job, but then maybe he had his breakthrough. Again, this is supposed to be energy towards Corey. I don't really see any love here, I don't see any love. I saw the King of Cups when we see it here, so maybe he had certain amount of love for Corey, but again, it's kind of like, this is the card I saw when I was saying I could see the love for the mother. Love for Corey, please, Spirit. A wish card, a 9 of Cups. I think there was a sense of also wanting to be free, but again, I see the heartbreak. So we're talking in general, the energy, not necessarily what he felt at the time of the unaliving. So this is strange. I mean, the mother, I think the mother does have something there, and I don't necessarily think it's necessarily towards Corey, but we had the Queen of Cups, or what did we have here? We had the Queen of Cups, we had Queen of Cups and the Empress. Very much a love energy, right? But yeah, something around possibly his work. We will do this again with a different kind of question. So now I want to check on Corey towards his mum and then Corey towards his father. He probably has love for both, right? But let's see. Again, maybe the mother's been out the life, or maybe the mother's been in the life but not as a mother. It depends. I feel like it's just not clear in terms of previous living prior to that year. So Corey towards his mother, please, Spirit. His energy towards his mother. A lot of similar cards have come out. Healing. Okay. Four of Cups, Emperor. Two of Wands. I think Two of Wands was the second card. Doesn't matter, I'm getting them overall. New chapter, Eight of Cups, the Chariot card. The Magician. So here, I feel like Corey felt like his mother could change the circumstances to make a better change, to move forward. I think he was hoping on that new chapter, maybe of her trying to have the custody. I think there was like a bit of torn between two energies, but he also was leaning towards maybe one parent with hope. I'm getting reminded of the Star card. There was an unhappiness, okay? This is the father figure. Let's get some more cards. Corey's energy towards his mum, please, Spirit. Six of Pentacles. Let's move these up. Did he enjoy spending time with his mum? There's his mum. So his mum was quite rational. She would give as well, and quite more of a balanced energy. He felt her. This is interesting, isn't there? I wonder if she's got a boyfriend. Split the deck, the World and the Nine of Cups. There is something coming through that he thinks that her statements are going to help bring closure to this situation. She was a pivotal energy in terms of trying to bring closure to one chapter and a new chapter opening, and obviously that new chapter for him is not going to happen, but also closure to this and balancing out the justice and balancing out that ego that his father has. But he found her a more of a balanced energy and acting like a mother towards him. I think he realised that she wasn't in his life in the earlier part of the years. There's some period where she was not present, whether they were living together or not. So it's something we need to look into. I do feel like a big significance is... So I wonder if she was with the dad, she fell pregnant, and then they split, and then the dad she didn't know who the dad was. Do you know that? Because he's come into his life apparently, which I'll look into, only this year. So does that mean like they split up, he didn't know it was his child, or they ran away? They only knew each other like a year, because it was more or less they got together, I think, and then they split. But I'll dive into that and see. Let's see Corey's energy towards his dad. I'm going to put these back because it's too much. Oh, look. As I said I was going to put them back, I actually was pulled to look. Corey's energy towards his dad. Feel this is power of abuse. Big burden. Look at that. It was actually going to be a question. Corey's energy towards his dad. It's not good, is it? I mean, even the mother is a lot better energy. But I mean, just, I'm not seeing ultimate happiness here for this child. I don't know. I might ask about the grandma if I find out who he was living with. Corey's energy towards his dad. He felt hopeless. He felt tied around his dad. He couldn't be himself. It was a heavy burden. You know, I think there was a deep abuse of power. There's this card that connects to it, which tells you everything. And this is why I'm following the trial, because when I saw the judge leaning towards the defense, I was like, why is he leaning? But then I was like, a DEATH penalty or MURDER outcome is a hefty penalty if it's based upon the treadmill, okay? That needs to be proven, basically. As a judge, you can't just rule it out based on abuse, because you can also put so much other penalties that give him a long tenature of years that he deserves. But was that day caught what caused his unaliving? And for me, I think it's abuse along the way, and that was the final straw. And also because the mother had him the day before, they need to prove that the mother didn't have a hand in anything, which I don't think she did at the time of that. But Corey's energy towards his dad, please, Spirit. I think he always, in the last card, I think he was hoping that he was with his dad, but he was hoping that his mother would get him. Tower, yeah, I mean, I don't even have to ask the question. I was going to ask the question, but I don't think I need to, but I will do. I think he felt he needed to, he had love, there was love here. I mean, it's just clear. As much as Corey tried to abide by everything, do what his dad asked, whether it was play with stuff a certain way, whether it was do your homework, whether it was whatever it was that his dad asked, he would do it. And this seems to me, even being good at school, he was good at school. But this is also telling me that I don't know why I'm getting a message here. If his mother, I'll have to check her sign, but if she's around a Scorpio, there's a message for her to be strong. And if she is someone that's dealt with substance abuse in the past or something, I hope this is not the cracking point for breaking that, if she's got clean or something like that, because there's something there. Anyway, the tower moment, there was a lack of patience. There was definitely a decision here. Again, a lot is around decisions and priorities. I feel like Corey always felt like he needed to apologize. Although he had love for his dad, he felt his dad was quite hasty, irrational at times, and would like come at him. So obviously just very much maybe he was on guard, but he was protected as well. So I don't know how this was actually closed, if it was the autopsy that showed abuse or whatever it is. I'm going to look into that, because that's not making sense to me either, because then all those doctors are going to be on question. And if there was a mother in the life looking after him at the beginning, I wonder if she was a Sagittarius energy. But there wasn't a balance of energies of being patient, being soft and loving, and then being whatever, I'm getting, you know, sort of the macho, masculine energy around Corey. And this is him. He's very grounded. He's practical. He'll, you know, he's not irrational. He'll move at a pace. He's not like fiery pace. And I just feel like he was a good boy. He wasn't. I'd love to know his pre-years. So everyone, I'm going to end this here. In the next one, I will be asking about also the justice. I'm going to go into a bit more details. Let me know what you think. Maybe this is the first time you hear of this case. It's so unfortunate. This card keeps staring at me, and so I'm going to pull more cards on it. The Tower again, and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And then we've got the King of Cups at the bottom. Very interesting. Major arcanas here, major arcana cards, heaviest energy within the dad's energy of what has happened. It's very clear. We can see it from all the cards. And so, yes, I will be following this, because justice needs to come to this little boy. But again, what I'm going to actually do is, you know, there will be, I feel like this also saying this, there will be a Tower moment in this trial. And I hope so, for whoever needs justice for Corey, whoever it is, because it's just not good, is it? And then the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, let me just touch base on that for you. This is actually self-absorbed energy. It's very much like helicopter parenting, materialism, overindulgence of stuff. So yeah, again, not a balanced, patient energy with him. Not a balanced emotional energy. Not a balanced emotional home. And it's led to the Tower. It's led to 2 towers here. It's led to this. The father. Thinking he's some macho. Sagittarius energy. Again, the Temperance. Corey, you are protected by the angels. You're protected by the angel. And this is not a popular case at the moment. It might not become popular, but for me it doesn't matter. It's something that's pulled me to it, and I'm going to do it. I know that I can continue with the Sebastian Rogers case. Everything I've said in the Sebastian Rogers, that it's going to get nasty, it's going to get all mixed. I even mentioned about the PI shouldn't have said something as her first statement. Everyone went at me. You know, see something, say something, you're one person who did. And as it comes out, look, a PI is quit. There's so much to say on that PI quitting, but this needs attention. And hopefully justice is going to be served on it. And I will follow up with another reading where I'm going to bring facts in. We're going to discuss this further. We're going to look at a little bit more of the trial. And please give this a like, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you're going to join me on this, and we will select an emoji once I know what Corey likes. Justice for coreymicciolo. We've got your voice here. Take care and bye for now, everyone. Stay blessed.